Hello everyone, this is Gabby94 with a very overdue tutorial on my Toa Nuva models. I made these a couple months ago, finally released them in May, and yeah, I know there's a lot of people that kind of want to know how to work them and how to use them and what sort of controls they have, and I hope that I can give all the information that you need right here. I'll try to answer anything in the comments, so if I fail to go over anything, please write below. And but yeah, let's just dig into it. This is gonna be a little off the cuff. It's absolutely not scripted because I don't really have the time to do that right now. But again, hope I can cover everything. So let's get going. First things first, you'll notice on each Toa, and I will start with Tahu just because he's kind of the base that everything else got built on top of. This big red circle right here is going to be used to move all of the model, everything. The reason why they have two of them right here, though, is if you move this smaller one in the center right here, this will allow you to animate him without the control panel right here moving at all. So the big red one will. You'll notice that the weapons by default don't actually attach to the character, and that's because of this weapon lock control, which is right here. It's set to free, which will allow the weapons to be animated separately from the model. But if you put them to hands or feet, it will lock them depending on what you want to use. So if I move this over right here, just so you can see, if I choose hands, now the weapons will move with the hands. If I choose feet, I automatically have them set to go down right here where the feet are and make Tahu's surfboard. So, pretty nifty. Okay, moving on. I'll do a side view right here, but if you click on the foot, we've got our IK and our FK joints, so I'll start with the IK because that's where it is by default. Whoop. We can move the foot, and it will move the rest of the leg. We can rotate it, rotates off the heel, and we can move this to move the toe, or really move the whole back heel right here. And then this part right here, which you'll see again on the left-hand side, I can rotate this around and you will move the knee individually, or not individually, but separately from the foot. So you can control this without actually moving where the foot is. So this helps with placement. Okay. For the waist, or I guess before I say that, I have this little pelvis joint right here, which you can rotate about as you'd like. For the waist, we have this larger one, which will move the waist by itself and not move the upper torso. So you can have all the rotations that you need. The pistons will move automatically, so you don't have to worry about that. But if you choose this middle one right here, the one above it, and the one above that are all spinal. So this is going to move all of the upper torso, and this will move your middle section and your upper torso right here. Guess I'll just keep going down the middle. We got the neck right here. Pistons move automatically. This will move the head. There is a limit to how far you can go with them, but for any of these, you can go to this right here with the bone constraints, and you could just turn it off if you wanted to, and do all sorts of this stuff. So they're there for your benefit, but again, you don't have to use these bone constraints. I tried my best to give you the limitations of what they could do in the movies, but by all means, if you want to go nuts and make some, kind of crazy Gary's mod looking stuff, I mean, if you do, send it to me because I want to see it. So, this will control the eyes right here. You can move this around and get them to look wherever you need. I'll open up the mouth real quick just so I can show the inside. This will control the tongue. You can rotate it about. I call it the tongue. I think it's really just, you know, their mouth technically, but I like calling it the tongue for ease. Moving on, we got the shoulders right here, which you can rotate as you like. This, much like the legs, you can rotate around the elbow how you need. This large box right here will move the hand. It will move the whole arm following the hand, because this is IK, or inverse kinematics. And if I move this weapon out the way, just so we can see, we have all these little bones in the hand, right here, here, and there. Okay. You can rotate all of these on their respective x-axes to get them rotating how you need them to be. They do have constraints in them, so even if you just hit rotate without specifying an axis, they will only rotate so far. These, on the other hand, for the knuckles, I gave a little bit more leeway, so even though these you know, can go in the x-axis just like everything else, they can also rotate out on the z-axis a little bit. Not this one, the middle finger, but the other ones can. So that if you need, you can sort of spread the hands out a little bit, which is something that they do in the movie, even though it kind of breaks it a little bit. But my criteria was, if it could be done in the movie, then we can do it here. This will allow you to move around the weapon, and this will allow you to move around the weapon individually or separately from it being connected to the hand. And then it's worth noting that any controls that you do, we do have a mirror up here. My naming conventions with all the models allow anything to be mirrored for each side, so makes it really easy to do the same thing on both ends. If you need to, you know, let's say you want both the hands to be clenched in a fist, and you want the same on both hands. You can go and select all of these, all of this, and we'll rotate that. Alright, and then if we go to the other hand, you'll see that the same thing has been done there. Okay. I will move on to the face just to give it a little quick rundown. Close this off. So I'll keep the symmetry on right. Well, I'll take it off just so we can see. But you have their eyes right here, which can blink. They can squint. We have our jaw, which you can move the upper and lower parts of. And I gave a couple extra controls just to kind of let you curl the lip a little bit. For the top and bottom of the lips, you can choose how you kind of want the smile to go. So if you want to give Tahu a bit of his a little crooked smile right there, give him his angry face. You can move the eyebrows, do whatever you like. Move the cheeks up, get him looking real angry. He loves squinting. There you go, classic angry Tahu. And right here we have the IK and FK switches. So I'll give a short little demo, but I do recommend going watch. There are plenty of animation tutorials that talk about IK and FK, go into great detail. But I do recommend, there is an add-on by someone named Misfit. I'll show it right here on the screen. I'll put his link in the bio as well, but he has an add-on that he created for IK and FK snapping, which is really, really useful. It allows you to sort of input bones, and it's just great. So I'll put that link in the description for where you can get that. He offers it for free. It's on his Gumroad, and I already have mine installed right here. You can see that I have Tahu's left arm already set up. I will join these areas just so we can get a better look. All of the green right here is going to be your FK controls. And oops, not this one. If I switch the arm over to FK, you can see that now this does nothing. It's these bones that are going to rotate everything. So IK and FK are useful in different scenarios. In this case, it's allowing me to rotate the entire arm from this one pivot position right here, which is the ball joint right there. So if you want like very robotic movements and things like that, FK joints are going to be really useful to you. Whereas IK joints would maybe be for a little bit more fluid if you're leading with the hand, but not all of your arm movements are leading with the hand, so that's why we allow the option to change it. The snapping tool right here is really useful, and I'll kind of just show real quick kind of what can be done with it. Oop. Go back into FK. So if I rotate the arm in this way, like I said, this box isn't moving with it. But if you plug in all of your joints right here for, like I said, right here it's the left arm. You plug in all of them for the FK, upper, lower, in, and all that sort of stuff. Get everything how you need it. And you can use mine right here as an example of what you can do for it. And I'll show real quick for the leg as well, how that's plugged in so that you can see. Come on. There we go. So if you need to copy this, you can. It'll be the same for every Toa. It'll just have their name changed right here, but you can go ahead and copy this over if you are using this add-on. But I'll try to be brief with this. Come on, switch over. Takes a little second. Okay, there we go. What you can do now is I can take the IK and snap it to the FK. So IK to FK. Whoop, wrong way. Hold on. Why didn't that work? Why didn't that? Oh, it's probably because I didn't key it. Well, luckily I already did that. So let's go to the animation tab right here where I have already done this. So first off, this right here is the arm switch for IK and FK. And you can see I've got it labeled right here. And as I scrub it, I have it switching to the IK at 31 frames, or the 31st frame, and it stays there for the remainder. So this first movement is going to be FK, and the second movement is going to be IK. What I do is right here, once it gets to this position, and I will I'll delete this just to kind of show. So I have animated out this first part right here in FK, so pay no mind to this box. In fact, I'll just delete that right there too. Okay. There we go. So I have this arm being animated with the FK, and once it gets to right here, this box, if I just go to the next frame, the hand is just zipping over there because this box is not where it needs to be. So if I go right here to IK, from IK to FK, it's going to snap it right where it needs to be. Same thing with the elbow joint. And I can now set its new location of rotation to be right here, so that whenever I do switch over to the 31st frame, it's right where it needs to be, and I can continue the animation. So now whenever I close this off, it's a nice smooth transition between the frames. And you can see that right in the first second of it, it's leading with the arms, FK, and then afterwards it's being led by the hand, IK. So that's it for Tahu. That's it for most of the bones and control joints. I'm going to move it over to Golly now. Let's see. Don't save. And we will open up Golly, because I want to show how to change the textures, because I know a lot of people were asking about this. And just to make it easier, the first thing you need to do, as I said before, you can't really select anything because it's not selectable yet. I think I mentioned that. So if you go and click these, now you can actually select everything. And I can go and hide all the bones, because we don't need to worry about that. We're dealing with textures. And now I can actually click on things. And when you click on them, if we go down to the material right here, you'll see that this is listed under Golly's arms. This is weapon, head, etc. And if we go to texture, or not texture, UV editing. You can see right here how everything is separated for each thing, but that doesn't really matter. Shouldn't be spending time on that. We'll just go here. Okay. This is where everything is all plugged in. So if I go, and what I'm going to do right now is we have the default Golly right here. This is the one that appears in the movie. Let's say we want the hybrid textures, which are my preferred set. If you've downloaded the texture sets, I will show you kind of the way that I recommend going about it. So, for those of you who are new to Blender, what I would recommend is just click on any part that you wanted to change. In this case, we'll start with the head. And you'll see that all this stuff is connected right here. And I will delete all of it, just so I can show you from the beginning what I'm doing here. Okay. So this is just blank slate right here. There's nothing going on. What you're going to want to do is click right here. Make sure you have all the textures downloaded. And what you're going to see when you download them is this. These are all the textures that I've included for Golly in particular. And from left to right, you'll see that there are 6 different texture types. You have the albedo, which is color, ambient occlusion, emissive, metallic, normal, and roughness. Some of them you don't really need, like this one right here for the arms and legs. Golly's arms and legs don't have any emissive material, but the head, torso, and weapons do. So we'll start with the head right now, and basically what you're going to want to do is click on the principal BSDF and hit Control Shift T. Make sure you have your node wrangler on, and I'm going to go to my textures. Now this is going to be important right here. If you're using Unity, you're going to want to use the per-vertex textures, but for something like Blender, Marmoset, or I believe Unreal also, you're going to want to use per pixel. And we can use 4K since this is Blender and we don't need to do anything real time right here. You can choose 1K if you want, and we'll go to hybrid. So we'll do the hybrid textures today. For the head, we can click on head albedo, and we can do control, hold down control, and do metallic, normal, roughness. Select all those and hit this button right here, and it'll connect all of them automatically. Now you'll notice there is a problem right here, and that is because the normals are inverted on one particular axis. So if we go to RGB curves right here, we can plug this in. Still looking wrong, but if we go to G, which is basically the y-axis on the normals, and take this, go all the way up, and take this one and go all the way down. Oh, look at that! It's nice, nice and good. It's worth noting too that all of this is already plugged in, so if you wanted to, you could just delete the stuff that needs to be changed. You could go in one by one and just change the albedo, change the metallic, change the roughness, normal, emissive, and go one by one that way. And it might be a little bit easier for you if this is kind of your first time digging into this stuff, because then you can just go in manually and change all of it. Okay, so now that we got this, while I do have an ambient occlusion texture to use, I would recommend that you just use blenders because it just works better. We can take this and plug it into a mix shader. And I'll put this at the bottom, plug this ambient occlusion into the factor. And now you can see if I hit Shift and Control at the same time and click, this is the ambient occlusion. It is being added to this, and we are getting the crevices of Golly being, you know, these little crevices get a little bit shadow. Adds to the realism a little bit. One other thing to note, and this is very much just a Golly thing, but going to want to plug in that alpha right here into the alpha. Doesn't look like it did a whole lot, but it's specifically for Golly's mouth. And I can show you that right here. Yep, see? It's for Golly's mouth. Okay. What else? Oh, one more thing. You can plug all of these in automatically, but for the emissive, what you can do is hit Control Shift and just duplicate the bottom one right there, so that way it's still connected to the same, you know, same line of things right here. We're just gonna go and select our head emissive and plug that into the emissive right here for the color. And I like putting it up to 10, but there you go. Now you have the color for the head. So this would be my hybrid texture for Golly, which is why the eyes are yellow. And if I go and change every other little thing, it's all gonna match up. So you can see as I'm clicking through though, I already have everything plugged in. So as I said, you can just go in here, select the ones that you want. So if I go right here and for the torso, let's say, and oh, that's right, I packed these in. Damn. Well, I could just do this real quick right here. So if I move this out of the way, delete that. We'll plug in the torso here. Okay. And we are already going way over the time I was hoping that this would all be, but it's okay. Alright, for the torso we do need an emissive, so I will just duplicated that right there. Adding the emissive. Plugging it in. And again, I like putting it up to 10. And now we got a light. So you can control the emissives on this. And it kind of gives it that little difference in glow. Like I said, I like putting it on 10. The reason why I want to mention this, though, is because the weapons have emissives. And by default, it's turned off, but they are plugged in. And if you go and turn them up like that, you can see that it's going to give the weapon the glow, just like in the movies. So, by default, I have it turned off, but you can turn it on if you'd like to. Alright, I guess while we're here, I'm just going to do all the other ones, too, everything else, just quickly, or as quickly as I can. Just so we can see what the finished product looks like. Move this out the way. Plug this in right here. Same thing for the arms. And again, you don't really need the AO for anything if you're just using Blender's built-in ambient occlusion, which I think works better. And the emissives, the arms and legs for all the models don't have emissives, so you don't need them. This is just about gonna just about do it. All right, and now I can move this down a little bit. We have my hybrid textures for Golly. With everything all put in place, if I want to, I can go to the weapon right here, And you can also do this in the material right here. You can see that it's under Golly's weapon. And I believe it's going to be, yeah, let's go down the shader and under emissions. You'll see the little dot right here too, so you can actually key this out and animate it. So if we go to animation right here, let me change the viewport shading so that we can see all this. Here we go. Emission and strength. We can key that right here. And if we move it ahead a little bit, let's move it to 10, and we can key that too. It should work. That's weird. Maybe I did something weird with the keying. But oh, duh, it's not plugged in. That's why. I did not put in the emissive for it. That could be a problem. Let's go to weapon emissives right here and plug it into the color. There we go. Now if I play the animation, you can see it. It's working properly. But yeah, you can key that, you can animate with it, do whatever you like. Now I hope that you're able to change up the textures as you like. I hope you got a little bit of an insight into how to animate with them. Again, if you have any questions, be sure to put them in the comments. I will try to answer as many as I can. Thank you again for all your support. For anyone that wants to see more of my work, you can check out the rest of my YouTube channel. I'm also on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, under Gabby94. You should be able to find me pretty much anywhere. Yeah, thank you very much, and you have a great day.